Gypsy Rose Blanchard's book is a book full of lies. And if you don't believe me, check this out. March 13th, Gypsy Rose Blanchard messaged me. And in this message, you see where it says that her and Ryan are not getting a divorce. And March 23rd, she had left her husband, Ryan Anderson. Now, Gypsy Rose was actually in communication with her ex-fiance way before all of this. In fact, on a phone call with him, he told me that when she messaged me, her and him had a conversation before it. So she was cheating on Ryan even before this. The weekend of April 1st, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was out with Ken Urker. Less than 2 months later, she was pregnant. So this just shows that this is a lie. Also, I want y'all to go check out Amber J's page because she did a perfect video of a compare and contrast about Gypsy Rose's book. Now, she said in her book, Nicholas GODEJOHN was the first guy she ever told that she could walk. Less than 10 pages later, she said about Dan that he is the first guy she ever told she could walk. If that right there doesn't tell you that the whole book is a book full of lies, I don't know what will, honey, but I just want y'all to know that this girl is a liar. Y'all lock in. Luigi Mangione pleads not guilty to terrorism charges and murder charges. Y'all, listen, he does not have a play attorney. You know his attorney is Diddy's attorney's wife. Y'all know this is about to get real. In the words of Glorilla, let her cook. Because I don't feel like he's paying this much money for an attorney like this if he doesn't have a plan. I also feel like something's not right. I don't know for sure if he's the one who did this, because something just seems really off. I know y'all might think I'm crazy, but am I the only person that thinks that maybe he's not the person who actually did this? And I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just saying. Am I wrong? Y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. Breaking news. Luigi went to court today and pled not guilty. His attorney, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, child, this is the wife of P. Diddy's attorney. And Mr. Agnifilo showed up to court today as well for Luigi. Now, Luigi's attorney said straight up, y'all have violated his rights. And she ripped the New York City mayor to pieces. For those of you that don't know, this is the mayor that has federal charges right now. And he was the one that was standing behind them when they were walking Luigi to court last week, or when they extradited him. Now, he has a lot of nerve because he has done a lot of corruption, and he himself has federal charges. And he sat there on that news station saying that he wants New York City to let him go through the court process, and he's innocent until proven guilty. But for some reason, he's not treating Luigi the same way. Now, Karen spoke out, and I want y'all to hear what she had to say.
Not guilty.
I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Your Honor, I just want to make a record of this and put everyone on notice that this has to stop. And my client is entitled to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence. And we're going to fight these charges, whether it's in the state or federal, to the fullest extent. Thank you, Your Honor.
Attorney Agnifilo has served as the second in command in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office from 2014 to 2021 under former DA Vance. So she used to prosecute high-profile, violent criminal cases. Child, this is right up her alley. Right up her alley, Bookie. And again, she is married to Diddy's attorney, who showed up in court today. Being that she has prosecuted high-profile cases before in Manhattan, and you know one thing about New York is they don't play, baby. She gonna give them prosecutors a run for their doggone money, and they better be ready for it. Luigi, I think she got your back. Your front, your side, your arm, your leg. She said, don't violate my client's rights. Period.
Y'all don't take nothing serious. Why y'all had to whip out Vicky White on us? So those of y'all that don't know, this is Vicky White. Vicky White was the one who got Casey White. That not in no relation. They were just, she was messing with him. This lady risked her whole life, literally, sold her home. She was a correctional officer or a deputy sheriff or something like that, and basically lied and got this man out of prison. I think she was like doing a little hanky panky with him while he was in there. The man ended up going back to prison, but she she puked herself, I think, and but she busted homeboy out of jail. So this person basically saying this is what she would do when she found out where Luigi Mangione is at. Y'all, the level of unseriousness that y'all are, I don't want to play with y'all no more. Because some of the things I have seen on the internet in the last 2 days got me fighting for my life to go to heaven. Fighting, like real life fighting.
I, for one, have said in this video that I do not believe that Luigi Mangione actually committed this crime. I think he's the fall guy. I might be wrong. That is just my speculation. With that being said, I do think that this is two totally different situations. Gypsy unalived her mom for sausage. If this man did in fact commit this crime, there's a bigger issue to be spoken on, right? And I think that is what the point would be at the end of the day. I wouldn't necessarily call him a superhero because I don't think that. I think unaliving someone is unaliving someone. But in the grand scheme of things, I just, let me play this video, and that's what gave me a little bit more understanding into it.
I wouldn't say that I endorse murder, no. But, no, I don't endorse murder, but.
But what?
But I'm glad that they're a little bit nervous.
Mail shot 155 Fifth Avenue.
He is no hero.
Now, people can like this guy. That's a sickness, actually.
This was Luigi Mangione at his latest court hearing. A villain or a hero? On that question, America is divided. He's the alleged assassin who spawned a line in merchandise and in tattoos, condemned and celebrated simultaneously. If the motive for murder was anger with health insurance companies, here the sentiment, at least, is shared.
People should have access to health care without being refused. The doctors know best, not the insurance companies.
My son, he was in the emergency room for malaria. I received a bill for $20,000.
If the regulators aren't going to do it, if the lawmakers aren't going to do it, if the voters aren't going to do it, at least it's nice if they've got some idea in their mind that there are ethical lines that they shouldn't cross.
In short, it's fantastically expensive, extraordinarily complex, and frustrating to most Americans.
Brian Thompson is the healthcare executive who was gunned down. Sympathy has been sidelined by celebration of his alleged killer. This was a Boston music concert last Friday with Mangione's image projected on stage.
We have seen a shocking and appalling celebration of cold-blooded murder.
The adulation of a murder suspect has been condemned, but at the same time, a fundraiser in his support has grown. Organisers for a legal defence with the healthcare industry in their sights.
They sort of profit off of this machine that is morally bankrupt and doesn't value the lives of human beings.
It doesn't justify murder, though. Would you agree with that?
The same logic has to sort of apply both ways, right? A CEO, he had his life sort of tragically and surprisingly to all of his loved ones cut short, but he was considered an effective CEO, sort of exactly because he profited from denying people's claims, which cut their lives short.
It wasn't until I saw that clip that I was able to understand where people were coming from. And the reason why I say that is initially I was like, oh my gosh, these people are horrible. They think this is okay. This is not okay. And how could we condone this? And I'm not condoning it still. But the question that we need to have is, what can bring change, right? And when you look at like politically, when you look at the world and how things came to revolution or bringing change, it has always started with violence. Think about the Boston Tea Party. It's actually kind of similar to this situation. It happened around, I believe it was December 16th of 1777 or 1776 or something like that. And it was a very similar situation as wanting to bring change, not because of health insurance, but prices, right? And hearing people say, and multiple people have said this in some of my comments in my other videos, where they've had to, bury family members over things that, they needed cancer treatments and their claims were denied for months. And where their kids were really sick and they needed help and they were denying the claims. Essentially, the only difference is he used a pew-pew. But these people are becoming millionaires over denying claims and essentially unaliving them, but in a corporate way. And that's the conversation that needs to be had. And ironically, since this has happened, there are insurance companies and things that have been changed already. And it shouldn't take for the people to have an outcry and support this for change to happen. That's the real question. What are we going to do? Right? Like I said, you think about the Boston Tea Party. That has everything that has brought revolution has started with violence. And unfortunately, America has always been known as the rebels. And that has been how change happened. Think about slavery. Think about Dr. Martin Luther King. He preached love and kindness, but he was gunned down. Right? Like, think about all of these things that have happened in American culture. It's a bigger conversation that needs to be had, but we also need to all be open-minded enough to understand it and understand someone else's perspective. Because I haven't had someone pass that I know of because of them being denied a treatment. So I can't necessarily relate, but I can empathize. And I always try to see things from a bigger picture, because everything is, when you make decisions, even politically, it's from your point of view, what benefits you, right? And a lot of times when you see things from a different angle, you're like, wow, I would have never really thought about it like that. So I do think that this situation and Gypsy Rose Blanchard are two totally different situations. And that is the conversation that should be had. And how can we bring change without having to go to these measures? People shouldn't have to be in uproar. It shouldn't take for insurance companies to get nervous and say, you know what, let's change a couple of things. It shouldn't take that.